Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Lisa Cotter, and today I thought we'd do this little snowman in the Arrtx watercolor pencils. Now over Christmas I do like to do a few different art and crafts, and this was perfect. So I thought I'd match it to this snowman I did a few years ago now on a wood slice. And so I sat down with a lead pencil and drew out this design here, and this is actually in the Arrtx watercolor journal, and it's 300 GSM and it's on hot press paper. So I thought we'd have some fun. So these are the colors here that I've chosen to use. Now of course, with the Arrtx, these are the colour range, really beautiful colour range. But for this, I'm going to go with a few of the reds here, and one of the pinks, and the blues, of course, because a lot of it is like snow. So we're going to do blue and white sort of for snow, and I've got some browns for his hat. And I want to sort of do a goldy sort of shade for the love heart. So they're all the colours there. Now these pencils really do well once wet. So for a bit of difference, I'm actually going to use my water brush, which I know a lot of people like to use. I've got my Faber-Castell ones. These are the press button ones. So I'm actually going for a pretty fine tip for that one. And then for this one here, more broader one. Also going to go for a white gel pen at the end, and this is the Secure Jelly Roll and number 8. That's what our plan is. Now I do have this sponge, and it just opens like this. It's like a kitchen sponge. And I just use this water bottle to spray it down to wipe off my brush. But this can actually be done in with a paintbrush, whatever you feel like doing. So that's what I thought we'd do. Now all I've done is drawn the design out, and I've put a bit of washi tape, just this thin washi tape around the edge. So I'm not sure how well you can actually see this, but I thought we'd work on the background first. So I thought we'd go a bit darker, moving down to a lighter as we get closer to the snow as a gradient. And the circles here will actually be the snow, so we want to leave them white. So I thought we'd start off with this blue here. This is number 318. So I thought we'd start off. Now, because this is going to be wet down, we don't have to worry as much, but I don't want to press too hard because I don't want it too dark. So we're going to go around about that. And miss all the edges here, because you can drag the colour pretty well. But I thought it would give it a sort of a nice background for our little snowman. But I do want to use a lot of the white of the page in this. I don't want to sort of have to rely on the white pencil, because it wouldn't really work, or a white paint marker. So instead we're going to try and I'm just doing little circles, if you can see that there. And then went a bit low there, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just very lightly. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the camera too much, because I know that it can get annoying when you can't really see. So we'll go a little bit lower. But again, I'm not worried, because we are going to wet this, so it's not going to be the neatest. Because we want to have it like a watercolor. So the next color we're going to go for is 314. This is a slightly paler color, and I want to bring that up a bit more as well. For the Snowman, we are going to go in with a lot of blues. So I've actually got this very darker blue. This is number 330, and I'm just going to go around the edge, sort of like a line, so you can sort of see. We want that pretty dark. Now I might do these as well. So these are little snow balls here. Thought something different. But this sort of takes it away from that background and gives it sort of a nice edge. And we might actually do the line for the snow in this colour. Usually I do not plan out my colours. I'm pretty, I usually wing it. That's what I call it. But today I actually did plan out my colours, just to make it easier in case you wanted to do your own. But it's pretty simple. It's basically a circle, and it's sort of like an ovalish blob for the bottom, so it's not too hard. Now around the edge, we're going to go for the second blue that we used in the background, which is the 318. And we're just going to go around the edge here. This will be sort of like a shadow. I want this sort of to be like, because white is so hard to do, and this is a limited sort of palette. Now here I don't want as much, so I've gone over the line slightly with this side, as if the white, the light is hitting from here. So just around the edge there, and where you know where shadows are going to hit. And then around here. And then we're going to go for the next blue, which is the 314, and that's going to be blended sort of into the other, and it's going to be more thicker on this side where the shadow will be, and any areas where you feel there could be a shadow. So for instance, maybe here and down here. Where his scarf's fallen, and then here and around this where the hat, the brim of the hat, because I do want to leave a lot of area, the white of the snow, the white of the paper. So And then a little bit around there, not too much. And then we're going to go for the lightest blue, which is 304. And that is going to go around there. Now you could do some different greys and such, but I'm doing blue. Cool colours for this picture here. And it will give it sort of that snow effect. Now I might do a slight line here with the scarves hitting. But that is the blue of the little snowman there. Now, if you feel that that edge is not dark enough, especially on this side, whoops, am I naughty there? You can go in. Now I'll try and blend that out. I have a tendency to do this. At least this shows you we all make mistakes. But on this side, I definitely want it to appear like the shadow more so than the other side. Now I had someone say that these felt scratchy to them, and they are, and they can be slightly dusty, but what I found is once they were wet they worked really, really well, so I would not worry. Now I'm just going to get my little eraser and trying to raise that slightly, but it will white out. That was just my Dermot one, but oh well. So we'll try and cover that up, but once I wet it, it should be fine. But now you can sort of see that this side will be definitely a lot more darker than that side there. Now we're going to actually work on, get all the dust off on his little carrot nose. So I've just chosen 150. This is an orangey sort of colour. And underneath, I want to sort of, I'm going to shade a little bit of a line up there. So the darker underneath, and then on top, we're going to go for 125, which will be nice and bright. Because you've got to have a carrot for his nose. Now, I will admit, maybe I've got snow envy because it gets so hot here. I've never actually seen snow, so there you go. You learn something new every day. So, but I love the snowman. So I'm actually going to blend in a little bit with the 710. This is a grey colour, just to give that white a bit of a shadow as well. Don't want much of it. It's very, very pale, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it too well, but that'll give it the shadow you need for the blue. Now I think what we'll do is the hat. So I'm going to go in with this brown here, which is a 650, and I'm just going to do the outline. Now, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep this away from the page so you can actually see, but I'm going to do this little hat for him because he needs a hat. And then up top here, now I am going to do the ribbon red to go in with his scarf, And back here I am going to shade a bit of that more darker. And do some shading. We'll extend that shadow right up to there. And then I want to go in with the next brown, which I've chosen is a 630. Now you can actually do this with any pencils you want. You can do it just with colour pencil. You could do this with your kids if you have children. It's a good little Christmas project. Make your own cards. But this design is really, really simple. It's just using shapes to make the design. So this one is a 620, which is sort of the lightest. So we're going to go in at the end here with the lightest. And if I need to darken anything up, I can actually go in there. Now I do have a darker brown, which is 652, and I thought we'd just do the edging here. Now, while we got this dark brown, we're going to do the eyes. So they're just little circles. And we'll do his smile, because he's got to be smiling. So that's his little smile. He's starting to look better every time. Now we're going to do his little sticks for his arms. So do any of you get snow over Christmas? And what's it really like? I'd love to see snow or feel it. It'd be totally different. So we're going to go in with the red now. And I'm actually going to start off with the lightest, which will go in the middle. This is the 206, and this is sort of like a highlight colour. So I'll put it in the middle there. And then the next colour we're going to do, oh, not that one, we'll put it there though, is this one is the I think it's the 240. And just on the edge here. And then we'll go in with this one, which is actually the 233. For the shadow, it's more of a brighter red. Whoops. Pressed a bit too hard there. So there you go, you've got a little ribbon there, and if you feel it needs more, but as this is going to be wet down, so don't worry. So while we're working on that, I think we could actually go in and do the outline of his scarf. Around the edge. And there's the scarf. And we're now going to come in and do the lines. So I'm going to have them white and red, just similar to this. And again, I'm going to put where I want. Now it's very hard to see, but I've actually drawn the little lines, and we want one red, one white. And we want it as if the light is going to be hitting and then with this one, now I do apologize if my hand's in the road at all. It is very difficult to keep my hand in little tiny spaces out, so I'm actually just going to extend it because I can actually go over this and darken it. So I hope everyone is ready for Christmas. I'm sort of not totally ready yet. I think this year has just gone so fast. I wish it would slow down. I always say it's as you get older, the days just go too quick. But we're having a pretty quiet Christmas this year. I've got my parents and my son coming for Christmas, and I've got 7 children, so 6 at home, so it will still be very busy and a lot to feed, but we're going to have a lovely Christmas as a family. So right at the edge, just a little bit of the shadow there. So yeah, we're just doing the shadow here. Do apologise if it's hard to see. So now we'll actually go in and I'll just wipe that off for the little bit of dust, and we'll do sort of the shadow for the white. So I'm actually using 710 again, which is the lightest. I don't want to go overboard, but I want it a little bit different than the snowman's body. I don't want blue for the shadow. So I'm just colouring the sides, which it's hard to see, I know, but and leaving the middle area where the light is empty. So there you go. And then I'll do 715. Just a little bit on the edge. I should have sharpened this. Just a little bit on the edge. We don't want too much. Now, as you can see, you can actually use these as dry. They look quite fine, but I do prefer these wet. They really come to life when they're wet. Really love the colour range in this set of watercolour pencils. So that was that one. Now, with the snowman, we'll do black, which is number 799 for his buttons, because he's got to have buttons. Now, I could have gone with the brown of his eyes and whatnot, but we'll do black. So I just want the little circles there. So there you go, that is the snowman done. And now we'll actually do the candy cane. So again, just like this, we're going to do it red and white. Now at first I thought maybe I should do it green, but no. For me, candy canes are red. And I think it wouldn't look right. So again, just as we did with the actual scarf there, just a little bit on the side, a little bit thicker this time. But this is a fun little project that you can do over Christmas. Just sit and relax and draw. Now, I'm sorry that I didn't get the line art done. I've been so flat out. But it's not too hard with Snowman to draw that out yourself. So I'm just going to go over that slightly. And now we're actually going to do the grey. And we're going to do an edge because it's sort of hiding into the background here. So I'm just going to go over with number 725, which is a darker grey, and just do around the edge. Now I've gone for some yellows, so we're going to do 102 for sort of like a lightish shade, because the actual light is hitting this side. We want to sort of put it over that side. And then 108, which is more up here, it's of a more brighter. And then we'll go for that 125, which we used on his nose. But I thought it just gives it a little bit of difference. And then we'll do this, and I'm sorry about the beeping. There is a truck outside making a loud racket. And we'll do the string. So there's a little love heart. I know it's not fully gold, but it sort of semi-looks. Just a little nice rainbow of colour there. Oops. There you go. Now, there you go. Now, the last piece to do is actually do a bit of the snow. So, again, we're going to actually go in with the blues. So, we'll, first off, I think we'll just go in with this 304. This is the lightest. And just around the edge here. Now, I'm going to turn this around. I hope you don't mind. Do you guys do that when you're colouring? So we just want sort of like a shadow coming down. Now, I think we'll go and do these circles so they don't look so weird. And we'll do the outline. Because they're going to be our snowballs coming down. I'm sorry if it's hard to see. But I'm just doing the outline of them. And I'm going to leave them pretty much white. Now, of course, with these, you can actually just use gel pen after you've wet this all down. Okay, I think we need just a little one there. but we'll go in with gel pen if we need to, or we can actually use paint pen. So I'm pretty happy with that. We might do a little bit of pale here, just so it's not so, just a little bit of colour, nothing. So I'm pressing really, really lightly on the bottom, and we're ready for wetting this all down and turning it into a painting. So I'm ready for the painting now. So I've got my water brushes. Now you can use a jug of water and a paintbrush, but I'm going for the water brushes. It's just simpler for me. And we're going to go for the more broad one at the moment. This was this one. This is by Faber-Castell. Now this sponge I've just wet down with a bit of water so it's quite damp, and to wipe my brush off. So all we want to do is to get this activated. Now I'm not sure if you can see, but there you go. There's a bit of water there, and you don't want too much. Too much water, you don't want to flood your page. This is more about activating this colour and bringing it to life. So I'm actually going to start off up the top and just do this area, because I will actually swap to down here. And as you can see, this dissolves so simple. And it turns it into a painting. Now, you could do these for cards. It's a lot of fun. But all I do is I wipe my brush off here to get that colour off. Now, I'm actually going to swap, because you're meant to do it. Now, usually if I'm doing with coloured pencils, I do like to use the dark to the light, but with watercolours, it's best to do the light. Whoops, we've sort of activated a bit of the red here, but so that's that part done, because we wanted this sort of very light. So yeah, just be very light on the water. You don't need a lot of water to dissolve these. These can be used in colouring books with a lot less water. So one of these brushes is perfect because it just lets out a little bit of water when you press the button. I found some of these watercolour brushes are not very good. They leak water. So now I'm going to keep moving this around and move it that up, so the light is moving to there. Now I don't want that big line there. Needs a bit more water. I will admit, I haven't found, I was cleaning out my watercolour drawer and this was at the back and I thought, oh good. And I don't know how long it's been there, because so being able to use this one again is good, because I like this one. So it was sitting right back there. Now again we'll go up to the thing. Now I've spread some, but I do like watercolours because they are unpredictable, as you can just see then. I like that you can just sit and watch a bit of TV, have your water brush out, and normally I use paint brushes, but I thought this would make it a lot easier. I'm going to brush that in so it's all to the edge. But I sort of want to bring that down more. And a bit more water. I was actually trying the other day to do watercolors and it was nearly 40 degrees. It was so hot, and my watercolor palette was just drying before I could even get started. You know how you wet down your palette? So I thought, no, that's definitely not going to happen. So I'm going to just wipe that out. And it's quite easy to clean your brush. You just get a bit of water and wipe it down and it'll sort of disappear. Okay, so now we're done sort of like a background. We're going to work on doing, I think we'll do the snow down here. Because we want this pretty pale, I'm only quickly going over this because I will do the outline after. And I think that looks good so far. So now we'll do our little snowman, and we'll start off, I might swap to the finer brush and just wetting it down because it's, I don't want to sort of mess up the details. So this is the fine one, it's only tiny. So again, going from light to dark. Now with this, I sort of want that white area to stay white. I don't want to sort of, I want to use that as to make it look like snow. Now you can go over these with colour pencil. So if you find that it's too dark for you, just grab a white pencil, either the Arrtx white is good. My main white pencil is the Prismacolor. I use that quite a bit, and I'll probably use that there because it is quite dark. But there you go, starting to come to life. We'll do these. But look how that colour just pops off the page. It's the one thing, Arrtx, a lot of their products just work really well. So just doing a bit of that shadow, and I'm going to move it up there. Well, that's how I do it. So we will go over with a little bit of white pencil to blend all this in. So that is the snowman. Let's see if I can lighten that up. And that pencil mark I did by accident. So that's a snowman so far. And now we'll do his hat. So now that's cleaned off. We'll start with the light. That needs some water. So we'll do his hat area. And just bring that lightness and drag it up to the dark there. And then the same here. So that is his little hat. Now I'm going to let that dry for a little bit before I do the, oh, I guess it doesn't matter. So what I want to do is just start at the lightness and move it. So that's his hat done. Now we're going to work on the scarf as well as this area here. Now again, we're going to use the littlest one, the fine one, and we'll start in the middle here and make our way back, and then do the same on the other side, and just wipe your brush off to get the dark red off, and then we're going to go in and do the grey. Now if you didn't want to actually do the grey, I'm only dabbing the sides to dissolve that. You could just leave that because it's only a very tiny bit, you can barely see it. And again, what we can actually do is use the white pencil to add highlights as well as the gel pen or a paint pen. Now that we've done that, we'll go in and do the little love heart. So again, starting the light, moving that back. Now I want to just add a little bit of that shading, so I'm dragging it down. Because we can actually lift that colour slightly. You could always use some metallic or glitter type paints for this love heart, just to add a little bit of difference. Now the next part is the little hands, his sticks. And again, we don't want to overdo this because we want to leave it to sort of be evident. And the black buttons. And that looks pretty good so far. Now the last piece we'll do again with the fine tip, and it's just the outlines of the snow here. I always like to leave it to dry between doing the pencil work, so allow it to dry for a little bit. Only needs to be 10 to 15 minutes. This is all dry now, so I thought we'd go in with a little bit of a white pencil. So I've got the Prismacolor white. This is my go-to, and we're just going to blend a bit of that white into this so it just softens it. Now you don't need much, but just around the edge where it's a bit too dark. So now you can use any white pencil you'd like, but that just softens that there. And I'm going to do it around here as well where the shadow's a bit too much, especially down here. And that just adds, that just blends that in. And as you can see where I made my whoopsie, it's sort of hidden there. And then we're going to do the same with here, because I still want him to stand out from the background, but I just didn't want him that blue. But it's very vibrant, and we'll do the same to these little snowballs here. And then just here. And then along here we want to blend that out. So I'm just doing bigger circles. And then I'm going to do a bit on just there. And then we'll do it also for these snowballs here. It just gives it blend them out so they've just slightly softened, because so you've still got the blue, but it's a very soft blue. And these two. Now, so that's how we've looked. Now I've got my Poscas here, 2 different nibs. One is the 3mm, this is a bullet one, and then I've got the 1 and gel pen. And pretty much, so I'm going to use the gel pen and see how I go. And we're just going to put some little highlights in the eyes. I might actually use my Posca one. My gel pen's not plain ball. So we just put the white in the eyes, and then in the corner there of the buttons. And we'll put a little line up there. And then where the highlight is there, I just do a line. And then again around here. Now you can go over this with a darker pencil to do outline. I'm not going to worry. I think it looks pretty good. We'll do a bit of a line there, and we'll do another line here. And then in those circles, just go around and add the white. So for when I'm doing circles, I do like to use a bullet tip. And this is my go-to normally. And then I'm going to do some bigger. Now, again, to reactivate if you need to, you just shake. And we're going to just do some dots around. Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on screen too well. But we want it sort of like there's snow falling and I'd like to do a little bit of dots like this so it looks, especially on the snow parts. Just tap here the white as if it's glistening. You could do some snow coming down on his hat. So he looks all happy out in the snow. But there's plenty of colouring pages out there with Snowman, and this is just a good idea for that. So I'm going to do some more little dots. On a card you could use stickles. Sorry about my children. So we've got some dots going on here. So we're nearly done here, but we'll just put some more white. But you could use silver, add some gold. But now you've got a very happy little snowman here. And I think he looks utterly adorable. So I'm going to let this dry for a couple more minutes. Sorry, my little girl's here. And then we'll take this washi tape off and have a look on how it looks. Okay, we're going to take this washi tape off now. So very carefully, because I don't want to rip the paper. But this is rather thin, but it just gives it a nice border. And then so we'll just take this edge off. So that is that, and it just gives it a nice border. But this would look beautiful as a card. And that's all come off very clean, which I'm pretty happy with. And I think that looks really gorgeous. And a little bit of fun today for the channel. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked my video, why not press like and subscribe, and come back soon for more videos.